God raised up David for this task, for this moment, to go to the battlefield to defeat the enemy that no one else could. David took on the role of redeemer of God's people. One man, sent of God, left the safety of home and stepped into the arena. He accepted the will of God for his life, full of the Spirit and of faith, and he went and crushed the head of the enemy. Yes, this is David, but it is also a picture of our greater Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Goliath stands as a picture of the enemy unable to be conquered by human strength or power. Just as Goliath stood as an imposing man of war, so does death, hell, sin, Satan, and judgment. But Saul and the armies of Israel, they were powerless to defeat such a force. Their heart failed within them because they knew correctly they would lose this battle if they tried. But David flipped the script, not going to Goliath with a sword or a spear, but rather in the name of the Lord our God. And just as David stood in the gap for the fearful army of Israel against the enemy that could not be defeated, Jesus, hear me, went to the cross and defeated the enemy that we could not defeat. Just as David lifted the head of the giant in victory, in triumph over him to prove to everyone that the battle was over, Jesus rose victorious from the dead to triumph over our great enemy and prove once and for all that the battle was over. The story of redemption reminds us there is a victorious King who goes to battle for us and defeats our great enemy. When their champion had fallen, the enemy fled. Yes, David was the victor on that day, but we also have an everlasting champion, Jesus Christ, who is God's victorious King and the one who redeems us. And if you put your faith in him, he will redeem you from the great enemy in your life that you cannot defeat. Amen. Pray with me.